Foundation. Siyathemba nizolijabulela lolu hlelo.
Sanibonani bafundi baka grade 12. I hope uniyaphila. Umemsibiya lo for English, FAL, English First Additional Language. Today sizobe senza poem. Poem is part of paper 2. Lo 70 marks. Poem yethu namhlanje ke iqondene kahle because poem yethu ikhuluma ngespring. Fortunately sikuyona le season yespring njengamanje. Spring sina 14 lines. 14 lines ke sina 14 lines, so it is a sonnet. Ake sithi nje kuyi-break kancane. I-sonnet iba na 14 lines. First 8 lines ubizwa nge-octave, and then bese to 6 lines bizwa nge-sestet. That is the 6 lines elandelayo. It's called a sestet. Okay, right. Before ngiyifunde ke le poem ngithe kune octave bese kuba ne-sestet. Lapha ku octave lapha ku octave i-poet ukhuluma ngama seasons. Ukhuluma ngama seasons of spring. Ukhuluma ngama seasons of spring. Angithi siyazi ukuthi unyaka nama seasons of 4. We have spring. Spring mase we spring siyazi sekulandela ini isummer. Then mangabe isummer siphela kuba ne-autumn bese kuba i-winter. Mohlehla futhi is winter, autumn, summer, spring. Spring, summer, autumn, winter. All right. Lana ku octave la because poem yami poem yethu senzayo it is spring. Lana ku first 8 lines. Ma lines awu 8 okuqala addressa ama seasons of spring kanye ne productivity ukuthi yini etholakalayo la. And then lapha ku sestet ku 6 lines ogcina reflecta kakhulu ku religion la esephatha khona indaba zenkolo kanye noNkulunkulu as well. All right, let's look at the summary of the poem. When you look at the summary of the poem, ibhalwe uManly Hopkins. And then he was a very spiritual man, this poet. So a summary of the poem, in this sonnet, the speaker celebrates the beauty of nature, ubuka ubuhle bemvelo, and the glory of God. Nudumisa imisebenzi kabani? kaNkulunkulu. Njoba ngitheke 14 lines i-sonnet, and then 8 lines. In the octave lo 8 lines wokuqala, i-speaker addresses the seasons of spring. Ukhuluma ngama seasons of spring as ikhuluma nge-season of spring as the best season out of all the seasons. Kunama seasons awu 4, which is i-summer, ne-autumn, ne-winter. Kuyena i-spring is the best season out of all the 4 seasons. Ngoba kuyena i-spring is a season of productivity. La uthi ku-spring ila kwenzeka khona i-productivity, la kwenzeka khona izinto eziningi, productivity and as well as life nempilo. And then he offers a description. Abese enika ama descriptions of spring's features. Ukuthi sibona ngani ukuthi kuyi-spring. Ama qualities e-spring, ama activities that leads him to believe his claim ukuthi spring is the best season. Uthi spring is the time when weeds, line 2 ngisazoyifunda poem, he says is the spring Spring is the time when weeds in wheels shoot long and lovely and lush. Okay. Poet la, speaker, he loves, uyathanda how nature rises newly every spring. Shuthi nature maqala spring, yonke into comes to life. Yonke into iyaqala iyaphila. Even the weeds, i-weeds ukhula, i-weed. But kuyena ukhula ngithi masilima siyasusa ensimini. But kuyena this weed, lolu khula, it looks lovely. He looks at the birds, they sing, inyoni ziyacula, the trees, they grow new leaves that touch the sky. Ihlahla ziyakhula zibe nama-leaves, ama-leaves touch the sky, and lambs are born. Kodwa le lamb lakhuluma ngayo yena mase siya lapha ku sestate last 6 lines usuke sekhuluma manje when he talks about the glory of God, the Lamb of God, he talks about Jesus. Jesus is the Lamb of God. But he sounds very certain. Unesiqiniseko like that the natural happenings are happy and good. Okay, let's look at the poem. I guess sibukeke the poem Spring by Gerald Manley Hopkins. Nothing is so beautiful as spring, when weeds in wheels shoot long and lovely and lush. Thrush's eggs look little low heavens, and thrush through the echoing timber does so rinse and ring the ear. It strikes the lightnings to hear him sing. The glassy pear tree leaves and blooms, they brush the descending blue. That blue is all in a rush. With richness, the racing lambs too have their fling. What is all this juice and all this joy? A strain of the earth's sweet being in the beginning in Eden garden. Have, get, before it cloy, before it cloud, Christ, Lord, and sour with sinning. Innocent mind and May Day in girl and boy, most or made child, thy choice and worthy the winning. Right. Let me read again, because English yakhona ithe ukuthi kancane, because phela ayikho that like straight English. Okay, let me read again the poem. I'll read the first, the octave, and then bese siya kwi-sestet. Nothing is so beautiful as spring, when weeds in wheels shoot long and lovely and lush. Thrush's eggs look little low heavens, and thrush through the echoing timber does so rinse and ring the ear. It strikes like lightnings to hear him sing. The glassy pear tree leaves and blooms, they brush the descending blue. That blue is all in a rush. With richness, the racing lambs too have their fling. What is all this juice and all this joy? A strain of the earth's sweet being in the beginning, in Eden garden, have, get, before it cloy, before it cloud, Christ Lord, and sour with sinning. Innocent mind and May Day in girl and boy, most all made child, thy choice and worthy of and worthy the winning. Right. Okay, going back, we said the poem is a sonnet. Tell the poem it is a sonnet. It's an Italian sonnet. 8 lines, chaza 8 lines, says octave, right? Let's analyze, let's look at the octave first, the first 8 lines. The octave, let's look at the first 8 lines before we do the analysis. Because poem finally see dissect, see analyze, okay? The first 8 lines, let me read them. Nothing so beautiful is so beautiful as spring, when weeds in wheels shoot long and lovely and lush, that trusts eggs look little low heavens and thrush through the echoing timber, does so rinse and ring the ear. It strikes like lightnings to hear him sing. The glassy pear tree leaves and blooms, they brush the descending blue. That blue is all in a rush with richness. The racing lambs too have their fling. Right. Line 1. Nothing is so beautiful as spring. Lana, when you look at line 1, the poet asserts, uyavuma ukuthi spring. Ayikho into edlula spring. Spring sinjani? It is beautiful. And ayikho into comparison nayo. Mayithi nje nothing is so beautiful as spring. So kuyena nje ayikho into. So kuyena spring is the loveliest season. Kuyena nje ayikho into edlula ispring wonke ama seasons lawa u4 onyaka. And then line 2 there is an alliteration there, a repetition of the W sound, and then the L sound as well. Alliteration, alliteration siyazi ukuthi is the repetition of the same consonant sound. Same consonant sound repetiwe la u-W no L. When weeds, wheels shoot long, lovely and lush. There's a use of alterations. Le alteration ikhombisana is speed. A sense of speed and grow of weeds. When weeds in wheels, shoot ama weeds ukhula if it's in wheels. I-wheel isondo. Isondo malihamba lenjani, alihamba lencane liyashesha. So mayithene when weeds in wheels, kushuthi it gives a sense of growth of weeds. Ukuthi ama weeds akhula kanjani ngamandla. But ama weeds thina isikhathi esiningi masicenta or sihlakula. Siwathatha njengama parasites. Awekho right. Fanele siwasuse ukuze zikwazi ukuthi itshalo zimile kahle. But he says weeds are parasites, and to us we view them. They are generally not viewed in a positive light. However, speaker yena, it describes them as lovely and lush, which are terms of admiration. When something is lush, it flourishes, it grows luxuriantly. So yena uyawancoma ama weeds la. He says they are lovely and lush. In other words, akhula ngamandla, akawakondemi kufanele akhishwe. Right. Going to line 3. He talks about the thrush's eggs. A thrush is a small, medium-sized songbird. Inyoni encane eculayo. He says thrush's eggs look little low heavens. Ama thrush's eggs, this small bird, are blue. And it's when you look at the sky, when he refers to heavens, ukhuluma about the sky. The sky, color sky is always blue. So when he says thrush's eggs in blue in color, so might and they are blue in color, and then therefore they resemble the color of the sky. Should akhombisa lamaqanda etrash alezinyoni encane. They resemble the color of the sky, sky which is associated with heavens. And it is so it says thrush's eggs look little low heavens. So ulana the color yama eggs a thrush, they resemble the sky which is associated with the heavens. The sound the sound, the song is compared to the powerful sound of lightning. Uti thrush's eggs look little low heavens and thrush through the echoing timber. Does so rinse and ring the ear. It strikes like lightning. lightning umbani. It strikes like lightning to hear him sing. Uthini la, uthi is sound yalezi nyoni mayicula. We compare the sound of lightning. Muzo makushaya umbani. So the bird song is so loud. Shuthi umculo wale thrush wale nyoni encane mkhulu ngale ndlela that it is loud and clear, and then it seems to pierce ngathi ngena through indlebe. It says that so rings and ring the ear. It strikes like lightning to hear him sing. So ungazi uthi ene mayicula ngathi ize iyongena endlebeni. Okay. Siqhubeke ke sithi ke su line 6. Line 6 to 8 it says, the glassy pear tree leaves and blooms. They brush the descending blue. That blue is all in a rush. With richness, the racing lambs too have their fling. I-pear tree, i-pear nayas. Twa any pear, ngazi pear ngesizulu, but i-fruity. He says the pear tree grows leaves, inama leaves, and then its flowers blossom. So mangabe uyibuka ukude this pear tree ngazi uthi ene uyifanisa ne paintbrush, i-paint i-brush leli lapende that is coloring the sky. He says the pear tree leaves and blooms. They brush personification la. They brush the descending blue. That blue is all in a rush. With richness, the racing lambs to have their fling. So lana ungazi uthi ene this pear tree lama leaves akhona wa comparison a paintbrush, a paintbrush that is busy coloring the sky. Okay, that is this octave. Then moving on to the last 6 lines, which is the sestet. I-sestet ke uqala ngeri lapha nje, the first line, line number 9, there is a rhetorical question. It's a figure of speech. Rhetorical question is where a question is asked, but umuntu osuke ebuza lo mbuzo usuke ngalindele ini pendulo. He says, first line number 9, he says, what is all this juice and all this joy? A strain of the earth's sweet being in the beginning, in Eden garden. Have, get, there's a hyphen there. Have, get, before it cloy, before it cloud, Christ, Lord, and sour with sinning, innocent mind, and May Day, in girl and boy, most all made child, thy choice, and worthy the winning. You tell up when we beginning of line 9, there's a rhetorical question. Ubuzo mbuzo la. Uthini lo mbuzo? Kahle kahle, what does it mean? Uthi, what is all this juice and all this joy? Nakhona futhi lapho kune alliteration uJJ. Uthi, what does all this beauty of nature actually signify? Uthi kahle kahle lo buhlo obungaka bumelele. What is the significance of this beauty? Okay, so the significance of this beauty can also be about where this beauty and the happiness originates. He says, what is all this juice and all this joy? Bese mowe lapha ku line 10 uthi, a strain of the earth's sweet being in the beginning in Eden garden. Strain la in this case is a sound of a piece of music. Modlalo music, the strain is a piece of sound. So uthi lana kahle kahle shuthi senempendulo. Angithi kubuze lapha ku line 9 ukuthi what is all this juice and all this joy? Ku rhetorical question uyayiphendula ke yena lapha line 10. Actually usenayo answer to the question line 9 ukuthi this beauty nale happiness I feel yena. He says a strain of the earth's sweet being in the beginning in Eden garden. Ubela upike manje, he goes back to the Bible. So sekala ke manje kusestate ngithe lapha kusestate he is being religious. Usebuyela kuphi eBhayibhelini. He says the beauty and happiness are holy. Shuthi kungcwele. They are holy, they are spiritual, and they are from God. So this juice and all this joy, according to the poet, is from God. Lana, what does he indicate? He indicates, the speaker indicates that spring is a lot like the good old times in the biblical Garden of Eden. Nakhumbula engadini yase-Eden la kwakubekwe khona u-Adam. Adam wadalwa wahlala e-Garden of Eden. Wase wambona uNkulunkulu ukuthi ulonely, wasemenze wamlalisa, wakhipha u-Eva embanjeni zakhe, what is not good for a man to be alone. Now sebedla ke isithelo ekwakuthiwa bangasidle siphathe nendawo sebexoshwa ke. But lapha ngalesi sikhathi those were the good old times, because wayedla yonke into Adam. He didn't have to work. Wayengasebenzi, wayedla yonke into ekhona ehlathini ayipho uNkulunkulu. Nawo sebona ke sekuthiwa ke manje back ekutheni sizodla ithukuthu izandla zethu. But lana when he says what is all this beauty, what is all this juice and all this joy, ukhuluma about the good old times in the biblical sense. Lapha ngathi sese Garden of Eden, it's freshness, konke okwaku freshness le associate nani ne-spring ne-innocence, because Adam ngathi selapha he was innocent. Nakho siqhamuka inyoka ke sicorrupta ke uEva sebeze bexoshwa. So innocence is compared to the Garden of Eden before thina senze njani sone, before mankind sinning corrupted it. Kwasekufika ke isono ke kwasekuthiwa ke umuntu uzosebenza, inyoka izoba isitha sakhe. So lana ufuna ukwenzani la uHopkins, he asserts that springtime, isikhathi spring, is an image of what the world would have been like in the beginning if kwangangenanga le ndaba yeso, before the sin of mankind corrupted it. So kwawuzohlala nje ku spring, ku fresh, ku innocent kunjalo, kwasengena ke le sono ke. Okay, continuing to line 11, uthi have, get, before it cloy, before it cloud, Christ, Lord, and sour with sinning, innocent mind and May day in girl and boy, most all-made child, thy choice and worthy the winning. From line 11 to line 14, uthini lana speaker. The speaker suggests ukuthi abantu, people have little memory of what the paradise of Eden must have been like. Incane memory, because bahlala isikhathi esincane Adam lapha. So he proceeds, uyaqhubeka la, to use different images of innocence. Ukhuluma ngo-Christ, which is our Lord Jesus, ngoMary, uMary uma kaJesu. Ulana ufuna ukwenzani? He wants to present his image of the beautiful, peaceful, and innocent world he would like to see. Ukuthi kwakuzoba kanje. But ke akubanga kanjalo. And then when he says all made child, in the maid is uMary. Maid child is Jesus, uJesu. When he talks about the maid child. So the maid child, the poet to present his image of the beautiful, peaceful, and innocent world he would like to see. Finally, ekugcineni, the poet wishes for a return to the world of innocence. Ukuthi engathi ngaphindelwa emumva, thy choice and worthy the winning. He prays, uyakuthandaza la, that God, uNkulunkulu, must preserve the beauty before it loses its purity. Ukuthi uNkulunkulu engathi ngabugcina lobu buhle balokhu kuba pure, kuba innocent. He appeals to Christ, uncenga uJesu ukuthi, and asks him to protect beauty from sin. Ukuthi engathi angamvikela lobu buhle from sin. Lana in this case akasakhulumi ngespring, usekhuluma is referring to innocence. You know, when you're still young, mawusemncane, you have the child with innocence. He appeals to Jesus as the child of Mary to win innocent children to his side and save them from sin. Lana useba more spiritual ukuthi engazuthi innocence le destroyer is sin lapha Garden of Eden. Engathi uJesu he appeals to Jesus as the child of Mary. uJesu ingane kaMaria ukuthi akawine akazami ukuthi athole these innocent children to his side and try might and before it Christ Lord and sour with sinning, innocent mind and made day in girl and boy. When he talks about girl and boy, he talks about the little children. Ukuthi engathi uJesu angayigcina zi innocent, zingathi fall into sin. But ke masesila emhlabeni vele siyona ngekhathi eningi, but yena ngokwakhe ufisa sengathi uJesu angayithatha ingane encane ayigone on his side ukuthi zingoni. Okay, let's look at the themes. Themes of this poem. When you look at themes, eyokuqala nje itheme la ikhuluma nge-innocence. If you are innocent, kushuthi ene awukho corrupt, you are innocent, awukakangenwa izono zezwe or awukakangenwa izinto eziningi. So itheme la yokuqala is innocence. Kanjani? Uspeaker la, he admires and loves springtime. Uyayithanda isikhathi sespring. And kuyena it is a time for renewal. Isikhathi sokuvuselela kwezinto. Spring is innocent. See, innocent spring and is free from guilt and sin. Free from guilt and sin or akekho umuntu owonayo. Whereas as humans, thina siyayidestroya, siyayidisrupt futhi these peaceful and productive cycles. So thina as human beings, we need to be well behaved and loving. Sifane nama-lambs, lapha ku-line 8, la ethi, with richness the racing lambs too have fed their fleeing. Uthi asifane nezimvu. Angithi kuthiwa izimvu innocent. Uthi we must be as innocent as lambs. Speaker la, he believes ukuthi spring is like when God created the world. Kathi uNkulunkulu edala umhlaba, he imagines yena ngokwakhe ukuthi it was hopeful and ngokwesikhathi esi-innocent. He thinks back to the Garden of Eden. Ubheka lapha emuva paradise that was supposed to exist before humans were on the earth. Ukuthi ukuba kwahlala kunje kwakuyolunga. So itheme yokuqala la innocence, and then esibili itheme is the unique and special nature of the universe. Unique and special nature yomhlaba of the universe. Kanjani? La kwenzekani? Everything, no matter how small, no matter incane it's meant to be on earth. Each object into la emhlabeni and action has a purpose. Njengoba ku-line 2 nje khuluma ngama-weeds ngokhula in wheels. They are patterned. They have their own purpose now, ama-weeds njengoba ekhona. So nalapha when it talks about the thrushes eggs, lenyoni encane eculayo, which are like versions of heaven, perfect and new each time, even though there are so many of them. Kodwa it even says mayicula lenyoni, it rings our ears and reminds us icula la endlebeni zethu iyasikhumbuza of how beautiful and wonderful nature is, because inyoni nayo is part of nature, nama-weeds nama-plants now are part of nature. And then eyesithathu itheme is the humans' physical and spiritual needs. Ukuthi we are human, we are physical, and also we are also spiritual and spiritual needs. Kanjani? Humans must change their attitude. Tina, as human beings, we need to change our attitude so that we can appreciate all the wonderful things on our planet. Asishintshe indlela esibheka ngayo izinto ukuze sikwazi ukuthi sijabulele yonke into that is around us. Angithi thina as humans, as abantu, we form part of a species that must live peacefully with other species. Siphila la siyabantu, but siphila nezilwane, siphila nature, everything in nature, yonke into la nature inendawo yayo, even ukhula, the weeds, and humans need to understand and enjoy the earth. Uthi asik-enjoy ukuba la emhlabeni, singa-destroy, singa-damage the beautiful places that were created by God for us to enjoy them. Okay, done with the themes. Let's look at the diction, the language that is used, figurative language. Figurative language, figurative language, so sikhuluma ngama-figures of speech. Diction, the figurative language. Angithi and corner or simile. We find a simile in line 3. Thrash's eggs look low heavens. The eggs of a thrush are compared to the speckled, spotted, and cloud patterned sky. However, the word like is omitted. Akashong with thrash's eggs look like, but she say there is a simile there. Ufani say amakanda a thrush like the cloud or the patterns in the sky. And also the line 5. So rinse and ring the ear, it strikes like lightning. Utema ulalela, it strikes like lightning. There's a use of ulike lap, which is a simile. Simile siyafanisa, is faniso. And then bese shield alliteration lapha line 2, weeds, wheels, long, lovely, large, repetition of an L sound. And also lapha line 8, racing lambs, fair, they are fleeing. And a corner footing the alliteration, repetition of the F sound. Line 9, juice and joy, alliteration. Alliteration of the is the repetition of the same consonant sound. And then there is a metaphor as well. The speaker compares spring to the Garden of Eden. Lapagu line 11. He says, sweet being in the beginning in Eden Garden. It's a metaphor lap. It compares, in metaphor, we compare, but we don't use like, you say, so and so is a pig. So he says, Nalana ut and it's an Eden garden, but it is a metaphor. The speaker compares springtime to the Garden of Eden from the Bible. And then the pear tree, like the pear tree says in the distance is compared to a paintbrush coloring the sky. That's what a paintbrush is parapag. Then also, so we have alliteration, we have the simile, we have a metaphor, and we have personification. Personification is personification la senza is fanisa into engaphili nomuntu. Line 6, he says the glassy pear tree leaves and blooms. They brush. Wenza samuntu. And then line 7 to 8, the descending blue, that blue is all in a rush. The sky is personified as if it just cannot hurry down fast enough to share its beauty. This makes the beauty sounds like a gift, a richness being given from above. Coming from above to men here on earth. Line 9 is also a rhetorical question as well, which is a figure of speech. Line 9, what is all this juice and all this joy? And then bese kuba khona contrast la kuqhathaniswa khona izinto eziwu-2. I-poet uses contrast between sinning, ukona, and innocence, nokuba msulwa. There is also a contrast between the joyful praising nature in the octave, line first 8 lines, and the anxiety, newari lapha ku-sestet. What about sin and praying to God in the sestet? So kune contrast lapha ngenhla first 8 lines happy, there's a joyful sound, and then lapha ngezansi who is anxious is praying to God ukuthi there is worry about sin. Okay, so our images are there are images from the Bible in the beginning in Eden Garden, and he also talks about the maid's child, which is Jesus, the son of Mary. And then Going to the tone. The tone and the mood. Ye poem injan. The tone and the mood. The tone and the mood. The tone okala in the first, in the octave, in the first 8 lines. The tone is cheerful. Happy. It is celebratory. Happy. Uzasho uthi nothing is as beautiful as spring. And then lapha ku line 9 itone iyashintsha. Now ku line 9 the tone is questioning. Useyayibuza la. The tone is now questioning. Uyazibuza, what is all this juice and all this joy? Sometimes also in line 9 the tone is enthusiastic, full of energy. What is all this juice? What is all this joy? In as much as it is questioning, but it is enthusiastic, unokuba happy. But masisiza lapha last 6 lines we says that it tone changes. Lapha ku octave it is celebratory, it is cheerful, and then in the sestet iyashintsha ke manje tone. Itone isinjani? It is urgent. It is anxious. Akasajabulile. It is pleading. Uyancenga lapha. The tone changes from and becomes urgent and anxious and pleading, especially with line 11. Masethene have, get, before it cloy. Uyancenga lapha. The tone line 12 it is regretful, before it cloud Christ Lord and sour with sinning. Ukuthi kungaze kufike ukuthi sone kube sour yonke into imemuncu. This is in contrast with the joyful tone in the octave. Line 14 ke la khona ke it is prayerful. Line 14 uyathandaza ngempela nje obethi nje oh maid's child. Now it is prayerful. The tone is prayerful. Uyancenga ukuthi uJesu asize lezi ngane encane zingathi fall into sin. So it changes now from being cheerful, now it is pleading. Okay. Mhlambe just to check ukuthi we did understand the poem. Let's look at I guess let's look at these questions. Question number 1. Uthi describe the structure of this poem fully. Is structure sale poem sishilo structure. If methi describe the structure of the poem fully, if it's 14 lines, so it is it's an Italian sonnet. Kanjani mabethi fully ama marks awu 3, so inama lines awu 14. Uyachaza futhi first 8 lines ubizwa nge-octave, the last 6 lines ubizwa nge-sestet. Mhlawumbe usuchecka ne-rhyme scheme as well ukuthi the last lines lapha egcineni do they rhyme. Mhlawumbe usungasho the rhyme scheme is also there, usuyabhala ukuthi ihamba kanjani. And then question 2 uthi refer to line 2. Let's look at line 2. When weeds in wheels shoot long and lovely and lush. Okay, question 80. Refer to line 2 when weeds and lush. Bathi la, identify the sound device in this line. Sound device, it is an alliteration. Repetition of the W sound and the L sound. Right. Number 3, uthi identify a songbird mentioned in the poem. The songbird la khulunywa ngayo la, it is a thrush, but thrushes eggs, so the songbird is the thrush. Going to number 4. Number 4 uthi identify and explain the effectiveness of the figure of speech used in line 3. The effectiveness. Let's look at line 3. Thrushes eggs, look little low heavens and thrash through the echoing timber that so rinse and ring. Okay, uthi question la, identify. Qala fanele uyibone and then bese explain the effectiveness of the figure of speech used in line 3. Uzosho ukuthi 1, a metaphor, or it can be a metaphor or a simile because like is removed. Thrash's eggs are compared to the heavens. Okay. Number 5, refer to line 4. Through the echoing timber, dust, so rinse and ring. Kuthiwa choose the correct answer to complete the following sentence. The word ring, W-R-I-N-G, is an example of A, A, B, C, D. A, alliteration. B, oxymoron. C, onomatopoeia. And then D is pseudonym. Kwase kuthiwa identify ukuthi lo ring lo line 4. Through the echoing timber, dust, so rinse and ring. Ukuthi uyini. This is question number 5. It is dust, so rinse and ring. It is an onomatopoeia. Dust, so rinse and ring. So the answer is C. Going to number 6. Code. If you try a question code, make sure we grade 12 ukuthi uyawafaka ama quotation marks. To quote one word from the passage indicating that the flowers are young, they are lively, and they are bright. Let's quote one word from the passage. The flowers are young, lively, and bright. Okay. The glassy pear tree lives and blooms. So the answer number 6, the one word is bloom. It's lively, it's bright, and it's young. Okay, moving on to number 7. Explain the tone displayed in lines 1 to 8. Octave. Twala chaza itone. Muthi tone from line 1 to 8 injani. Usishilo lapha sathi enela ngathi senza ama tones octave itone yakhona is celebratory. It shows happiness ne-excitement. Lo muntu uyambona uya celebrate, ujabule, happy, excited. Itone yakhona it's excitement. You can say it's celebratory or it shows happiness. Number 8. What do you associate the Garden of Eden with the poem? Give 2 words. What do you associate? Yini ohlanganisa neGarden of Eden le poem? Nika amagama awu-2. Ungaba innocence, ungaba freshness, ungaba purity, ungaba uncorrupted. Because got to a Garden of Eden, everything was innocent, it was fresh, it was pure, it was uncorrupted. Any of those 2 are correct. Number 9. To whom does maid's child, line 14, refer to? Almost all maid's child, thy choice and worthy the winning. To bani lo maid's child. It refers, obviously, the maid's child, it refers to Jesus. Right. Number 10. One of the themes of the poem is innocence. Right. Sishilo sathi itheme eyodwa futhi innocence, right? Discuss this theme in the context of the poem. If one of the themes is innocence, buela-ke manje kwi-context of the poem ukuthi why do you say one of the themes is innocent. Uzochaza phela. Explanation of the theme of innocence should include ama-points njengokuthi spring is innocent and free from guilt and sin, and humans deliberately disrupt and destroy these peaceful and productive cycles. Or you can say humans, they need to be as innocent, well-behaved as lambs. Or the speaker believes that spring is like when God created the world. He imagines it was hopeful and innocent time. Speaker thinks back to Eden, to the Garden of Eden, the paradise that was supposed to exist before human beings were on earth. Okay. And then number 11. The speaker succeeds in convincing the reader about the beauty of spring. Discuss your view. Ulana, there is no yes. There's no right and wrong answer. Uzothi yes. The speaker he succeeds in convincing the reader. The speaker uses a figure of speech and words like beautiful, lovely, lush, splendor of spring. Description of spring creates a pleasant picture of nature or bliss, happiness in the mind of the reader. Through his description, the speaker convinces the reader to feel the way that he does about spring. Or you can say no. The preference of readers is to their favorite season. Mnami mhlambe yami favorite season winter. So akazongijwayela kufanele ngiyithande le spring. You can say no. Other seasons as well, they have a unique beauty, not just spring, or not all readers will understand the language compared that the speaker is talking about. So either of those, you can say yes or no, as long as you will be able to support your answer. Right, and then you get your marks. We've come to the end of our lesson for today. I hope it's springy, and then next time we will continue with something else. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.
Siyathemba nifunde kahle nasithokozela Ningakhohlwa ukuthi nisengathokozela ezinye izifundo eziyisithupha kanye nezengeziwe i-Learner Wellness, i-Career Guidance kanye ne-Advanced Program. Hlanganyela nathi kwizifundo ezi-online ku-068 151 1072 noma ku-GoDigi@godigitalsa.today. Siyabonga.